Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Strength in Reserve. And that is because there are some planets now that have changed signs, and that changes the balance of power or the balance of strength in the heavens and can have a very good effect on us. And that is because there is still a harsh T-square among 6 planets in cardinal signs. And so there can be a lot of tension and pressure generated by the challenges, particularly from an exalted Mars and Pluto, which are even more closely conjunct this week. Pluto is at 15 degrees and Mars is at 16 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. And because Mars is exalted, it is the strongest planet up there right now. And it is squaring Uranus in Aries, and it is also, and so is Pluto, and they are squaring the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Libra, which does rule the law. So with these 6 planets in a harsh aspect, we can continue to see a lot of pressure on peace-loving people and also on people that don't want to conform or want to try something new or are eager for a new beginning. And so even though that is still in place, and even though Mars and Pluto are so strong and dominant right now, this is still a time when things are changing and there can be strength in reserve, because the planets in Capricorn are not being fortified in any way. They're really strong, but they have no backup. There's nothing in Taurus and there's nothing in Virgo to back them up. But the planets that they are harshly aspecting, such as Uranus and Aries, that planet is being trined by planets in Sagittarius, and the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Libra are now today being trined by planets in Gemini. So both the fire signs and the air signs have strength in reserve. And that changes the balance of power a little bit, particularly since Mars and Pluto do not have any fortification or strength in reserve. And so this simply means that we are going to see in small ways, but important ways, that there can be very supportive groups now that are backing up some people who are under siege. And it isn't just people, it can be principles, such as the principle of law and order. Or it can be things that are unique and sort of want to get off the ground and be experimental or inventive right now. There is support for that at last. So even though they're under pressure, they have strength in reserve. And that means that things are about to change. And the reason why is that, for instance, today, the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter, which are being squared strongly by Mars and Pluto in Capricorn, are being trined by the Moon in Gemini. The Moon is at 28 degrees of Gemini, and the Sun in Libra is also at 28 degrees. That means this is an exact, precise trine between the lights, the Sun and the Moon. That is very good. And so that 28th degree reduces to 10. We reduce numbers by adding digits. So 2 plus 8 equals 10, which is still a double-digit number, so we'll reduce it again. 1 plus 0 equals 1, the number of new beginnings. So if people want to join in partnership, which is what Libra rules, they could be getting some extra strength in reserve or support from the things that Gemini rules, which is youth. So there could be a lot of strong emotional support. Remember, the Moon rules our emotions, from younger people now toward those who want to respect the law and join in partnership. So that's pretty good strength in reserve. The other planet, Uranus in Aries, which is being harshly squared by that Mars and Pluto, is being fortified in a much better way than it has been during the year. And that is because Venus has moved out of Scorpio and now it is in Sagittarius. And Venus is a warm, touching, loving planet. And it's joining Saturn there, and Saturn rules the cold. And it is a somewhat taciturn planet, requiring that you don't skip steps and do a lot of hard work in order to earn respect and honor and prestige in your position. So Saturn is not a warm and fuzzy planet, but boy, Venus is. And now Venus, one love planet which rules touch and does rule Libra and partnership and the law, is being trined by the other love planet, Uranus, in Aries. And Uranus doesn't rule touching love, it rules higher spiritual love. It rules the love that people have who get together to do something, or that have common interests, or who have a common goal, or who just want to sort of experiment with something and see what's around the next bend, or try something new. So these love planets are in trine, and that is very harmonious in the same way that the sun and the moon are in trine right now. And that's what is giving us some strength in reserve. So even though Mars and Pluto are very strong right now, and they are challenging the planet in Aries and the planets in Libra, those planets do have backup, and Mars and Pluto do not. So what this means is that the tenacious, cruel desire for ruthless people who have a lot of ambition right now to be in total control is very strong, but it is almost their last gasp. They're almost at the end of something rather than at the beginning, and that is because they have no more strength in reserve. So even though they can push hard right now, it is not necessarily a guarantee of success. And that is because the planets that they're running up against, or the people or groups or principles that they are challenging right now, are stronger than they look. And so if you are a person that is involved in some sort of controversy or challenge that you have been enduring for a while, and it's been pretty tough to endure, hang on, because your times of struggles could just about be over. And that is because, whether you know it or not, there is more support for you than you realize, particularly if you want to uphold law and order, or you want to stick with a partnership, or you want to try something new and experimental, and it's sort of try to break the mold, or try to do something inventive or different that can improve your future. Then hold on, because the people that are in tenacious, well-established roles, and they absolutely do not want to give them up, it isn't that they're not strong. It's a question of how long the strength can last. And I would think that it can't last much longer, and that is because now the things and people that they are challenging are stronger. And so that balance is going to even out. It could be a balance between good and evil. It could certainly be a balance between the strong who want to overpower the weak. That could be changing. And so that's why I'm saying don't give up on anything right now, particularly if you've been trying to do something right and nobody's been listening. That could be turning around pretty soon. All right, what does this idea of strength and reserve mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that reinforcements have arrived, and it's probably at the last minute for you, Aries. And the reason why is that now Venus, one love planet, is trining Uranus in your sign, which is the other love planet, and Saturn in Sagittarius is also trining your sign. It's been doing that for a while, and Saturn will continue to trine your sign for a year, but now that Venus is also doing that, Aries, it simply means you could get a second chance. And it could be that when I say reinforcements have arrived, it could be that you get some help in making a change. And if you were to go back to a place that you'd been or lived before, or an employer that you'd worked for before, you would be welcomed with loving open arms right now. So you might want to give that a try, because the force of Mars, your own ruler, and Pluto in Capricorn squaring your sun sign is so powerful that you rather than meeting a challenge, I think the best thing you could do about a challenge or a problem that you're having, Aries, is to go back to something that you're more familiar with and sort of start over, not at the bottom or anything. In fact, you may do better at a place that you'd been before. And that is because, one, it's familiar to you, and two, there's no pressure there. And so you may think about taking a step back, but it would also perhaps be a step up. And I don't think you're going to get anywhere where you are, Aries, so you might sort of reconsider something right now, because I think you'd be welcomed with open arms. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, there aren't any planets in any of the 4 fixed signs, yours, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius. So there's actually nothing challenging you at the moment, Taurus. And that is because although Venus has been in Scorpio, opposing your sun sign, it has moved on now into Sagittarius. And so I don't think that there is anything that is strongly challenging or threatening you, Taurus. And in fact, the only thing that you really have to worry about is the force and power of Mars and Pluto in Capricorn, which are trining your sun. The trine is always a good aspect, but the power of these planets, which represent power-hungry people who don't mind making power plays, can perhaps influence you to do something you might regret. And that is because when people care about nothing except themselves and their own goals or their own quest for power, they can want to use others. And someone could want to use you, Taurus, and since yours is the sign not only of the good provider, but of a very hard worker, you could get used by somebody else, do a wonderful job, and not get any credit for it. So my advice to you is to wait and see what happens right now. And that is because that Mars and Pluto have no backup. And so just wait and see. You can afford to wait and see, Taurus, because nothing is really challenging you. So I advise you to be a little bit discreet right now and try not to agree to too many things at the moment, particularly if somebody is wanting to push you into something. You don't need to resist, but you could sort of disappear for a while, and that might be the best thing. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a wonderful time for you, and that is because the moon is in your sign today, Gemini, at 28 degrees, and the sun in Libra, also at 28 degrees, is exactly trining it. And Mercury, your own ruler in Libra, as well as Jupiter, are also trining your sun sign. So I think that either you are the person that can be offering support to others right now and furnishing others with strength in reserve, or it can be that you can be looking for partners that can help you in one way or another. So whether you are the one that is receiving the help or giving the help, you certainly are benefiting by joining others right now, Gemini. And so I don't think you have anything to lose and a whole lot to gain. And particularly, you could gain great new partners, but you could also gain a more peaceful understanding or settlement with some people. And you could be seen in the very best light right now, Gemini. So this is sort of an open door for you. And I hope that you get out and talk to people now and let them know what your ideas are, because they could be very receptive to them. So you can sort of get a green light right now, Gemini, particularly if you interact with others. So I hope you do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, remember I said that the power of Mars and Pluto is very strong, the strongest it's been in Capricorn, and those two planets are opposing your sun sign. And there's not a lot of support in water signs right now. There's only one planet, Neptune in Pisces, trining your sun, which means you can find out an awful lot behind the scenes. That might be nice. but you also have had to endure the pressure of high-powered people that have been making decisions without considering you at all. And that could involve budget cuts or the end of some sort of career position or a change in career. Okay, but you know, if you have been enduring a lot of challenges right now, Cancer, I would say that it would be a good idea if you were real quiet right now. And that is because there is no more backup from the people that have been pushing really hard and trying to call the shots and trying to stay in control. And yes, they're powerful people, but you might want to be really quiet right now because perhaps they're running out of steam, or perhaps their power is about to wane. I would say, Cancer, if you have been enduring a lot of stress, and you probably have been, and I would say if you can just hang on until November, particularly around the holidays, things will be a lot better for you. But in the meantime, try not to fight back, because there are people with power that could overpower you. Instead, be as quiet and withdrawn and discreet as you can be until the tide turns, Cancer, because it hasn't turned yet, but it's about to. And the moon in Gemini is right behind your sun sign. There are supportive people around you in the background of your life, or it can be that you are thinking about doing something part-time or temporary, or taking a short trip, and all of that could work out very well. That's why I'm saying don't advertise what you're doing right now. Just quietly do it if you want to. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time where you can greatly benefit, because remember I said there is strength and reserve for the air signs and for the fire signs. And that means that at last a really good planet has moved into Sagittarius, Venus, and along with Saturn, they are trining your sun, and also Uranus in Aries is trining your sun. And so that simply means that I think, Leo, that somebody pretty powerful or prestigious or highly respected is going to do you a favor. And I think by them willingly doing you a favor, it can help open a door to your future. And it can result in some sort of new beginning for you. But it would be with the solid backing of somebody who is influential or very highly respected and has good feelings toward you, Leo. So I think someone is about to do you a favor, and that could be any time in the next month. And so you should let people know what you want, or you should go ask for a few favors, Leo, because I think that the stars are indicating that people are in the mood to say yes. Lucky you. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, just like Taurus, I think that you should sort of wait and see right now. And it will be hard for you to do that, Virgo, because your sign is the traditional ruler of the 6th house of service. I mean, Virgo rules teaching, and it rules nursing, and any occupation that wants to help other people. But somebody could come along, a real powerhouse type of person, and simply want to use you for their own gain. It doesn't mean they'd ever thank you for that, for your hard work. It doesn't mean that they would recognize you for your hard work, and it doesn't mean that you would really benefit. It might prolong your job, though. In other words, you could benefit down the road as far as a pension plan goes. But I think that you should wait and see, because there is the possibility now, Virgo, with both Venus and Saturn in Sagittarius squaring your sun and Neptune in Pisces opposing it, that when it comes down to a vote, there is the possibility that you could lose a vote, or there would be a vote for others instead of you. And that's why I'm saying don't bite off more than you can chew, and do not accept somebody's push right now on their behalf. And even if they're asking for help, it's only to boost them, not to really recognize you. And I think that you can afford to wait something out right now. And that is why I think it would be safer if you were just real quiet and you did that. Just wait a while before you agree to anything, Virgo, if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is simply a time when you really benefit from strength in reserve. And that is because today the moon at 28 degrees in Gemini is exactly trining the sun at 28 degrees in your sign. That is wonderful, indicating the possibility of a new beginning. And it could be for you or others that you are working with or that you want to join. And it is a strong sign that there is a strong emotional support, perhaps from younger people, for upholding the law or for making peace. And particularly people like you that are always interested in peace and prosperity, this can just be an excellent time. And it can be a good time to join things or to join others. And you could use the help, Libra, because even with so many good planets in your sign, the force of that Mars and Pluto in Capricorn squaring your sign has been giving you trouble, and you have had to face challenges that have been a little bit disagreeable and hard to handle. So lucky you, there are some reinforcements coming in, or there is strength in reserve, or at least good emotional support that others could bring you, and that could really cheer you up and help you. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time without any planets in the fixed signs when there isn't really anything harshly challenging you, and that is because whatever you're doing right now, Scorpio, is somewhat in your control. It's somewhat set already, and I think that that's all right with you. Your rulers, Mars and Pluto, are in Capricorn. They are sextiling your sun sign, and Capricorn rules the fruition or the reward that is done after many, many years of hard work and effort, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn rules time and the rewards earned over time the hard way. And Capricorn also rules retirement. And this is really a very important time for you to think about where you want to end up and how much it's going to cost you, and whether you can get your hands on some money for retirement. Now, I'm not talking about your age. I'm talking about whatever funds you have set aside. Possibly, this would be a good time for you to consider getting your hands on money so that you could perhaps take a little bit of the stress out of your life, maybe go from full-time to part-time and still be able to afford it. Or else perhaps there is a health condition that you need to consider, and by taking the stress out of your life or by attending more to your health right now and having a little bit of money to help you through all that, that would be better for you and help you live a longer life. So Scorpio, you really need to think about how you can handle your money in a way that can prolong your life and can address particularly health issues, and this would be not only physical issues but mental health issues. Stress is a silent killer, and Scorpio, yours is a fixed sign that rules survival. And so you need to really think about your own survival right now, Scorpio. And if you can get your hands on a little bit of money in order to buy you some time to relax or rest, that might be a very good idea. Because if you are brutal in your treatment of your own health, then you're the one that's going to lose and not survive. That's why you need to rethink things right now, particularly about how to handle your money. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a wonderful time for you because Venus, the planet of love, has moved into your sign, and it is warming up that cold, stubborn attitude that Saturn can have. Saturn can also represent depression when it's in a person's sun sign, and sadness. And so you may have been enduring that for the last year or two, and there could still be another year of that because Saturn isn't going to leave your sun sign for another year. But now the warmth of love as typified by Venus in your sign, trining Uranus, the other love planet in Aries, simply means that you have strength in reserve now, Sagittarius, that things are going to get easier for you, and that there can be some loving help around that can open a door for you suddenly that could result in a new beginning. And I say go for it, Sagittarius, because your own attitude can even be more loving now, because some of the pressure is gone or some of the frustration is gone, and can be a much more enjoyable time for you. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when you can be very, very powerful because Mars and Pluto are closely conjuncting each other in your sign, and of course Mars is exalted. But there is no more backup to your sign. Remember, for a whole year Jupiter in Virgo was trining your sun, but it isn't doing that anymore. There's nothing in Virgo and nothing in Taurus. And for that reason, Capricorn, I urge you to be a good listener this week, because no matter what you say, somebody is going to take it wrong. And that is because you are so sure of yourself. There's nothing wrong with you, Capricorn, but because you are so sure of yourself, you can inadvertently drive nice people away with your strong opinions. And everyone loves a good listener, so maybe this is just a time when you should be a little bit more quiet, Capricorn. Keep your opinions to yourself and instead be a good listener, because that way you can get through this time when your strong opinions may not have a good effect on others right now. And you may lose more than you realize by expressing them. That's why I urge you to be a good listener instead. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a wonderful time for you because there are no more planets in fixed signs, so there's nothing challenging you. And you've got a lot of strength in reserve because the moon in Gemini is trining your sun, and the sun, Mercury, and Jupiter in Libra are also trining your sun. You could start something new, particularly something new that could really open up your future for you, and you would love that, Aquarius. And you could have delightful partners that would help you with that. And also there can be a lot of strong emotional support from younger people. So you could have a lot of different ways to go right now. And I would suggest that no matter what you decide to do, Aquarius, take a partner with you or join a group right now. You're very popular, but you do not need to be the boss. You need to just be part of a really good group right now, and that can make you very happy and can open up a lot of possibilities for you. So I hope you go to it. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, there aren't any planets in water signs except Neptune in your own sign, and Neptune is retrograde now, or going back in its orbit and revealing more and more hidden truths. And for you, Pisces, that means that you can be looking over your former relationships or jobs you used to have or places that you used to live, and you can be reevaluating those right now based on more truth that you have about yourself. So I think that you have been facing a few things about yourself that before maybe you had preferred to gloss over or hide, but you are quite willing to admit the truth about yourself and about what makes you happy. And so, Pisces, you may be reevaluating a lot of things right now and deciding perhaps to discard some relationships. You might be moving. You might be thinking of anything that can create a new beginning for you. And I think that's what you should do. Even if you have to get more training or a better education in order to start life anew, you can do that, Pisces, but you can't take all your baggage with you. And that is why I think that you're ready to reevaluate what really just makes you happy. And rather than going along for the ride with everybody else, this is the time for you just to follow your own special star. So I hope you do. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.